Hello, beautiful people of the Cellar. It's a Lulu. Okay, needing her little 1-2 rest and rejuvenation for a second to prepare for this weekend. It's gonna happen. Okay. Now then, today we are talking about blind spots, right? And oftentimes, many of you may have been drawn to um, tarot, oracle messages, or what have you, because you need some type of insight when it comes to blind sight, blind spots, which means things that you may not be able to see, things may be out of your view, what may be approaching, right? So we do have Saturn in retrograde, which y'all, if you've been with me for a while, you know that I enjoy retrogrades for a number of reasons. But we do have Saturn going retrograde. The planets are doing some other things as well. So we just stand fully in where we are, what we are doing, and how we are doing it, and ask the questions that are necessary on the way in order for us to have our steps guided on every day. All right? I can't get this to work right. Whatever. It's about to get snatched off. You know that? Okay. All right. So, oftentimes when it comes to blind spots and something comes to it finally approaches and gets in our rear view where we can see it approaching, or it causes a crash collision. What can happen is it's like, wow, how did I not see that? Wow, where did that come from? Wow, how was that possible? Wow, right? And there's so much information, and I call it misinformation, because sometimes people can be placed under the guise of you're being attacked, you're not holy enough, you're not righteous enough, you're not the, oh, whatever it is, child. When it comes to things that happen, bad things happen to good people, right? And sometimes when things happen, people can't understand why certain things happen to them, why certain things occurred, and they need somebody or something to blame. Of course, bad building friends, however they show up, um, do play their part, right? So once we know what the part they are playing in whatever it is that we have going on, we are accountable for what we have going on, despite of their interference or potential influence, right? So it's always important to remember that things are not happening to you, they're happening to you, they're happening for you, because so much self-development comes from the things that we go through, the things that we see, the things that we do, the choices that we make. We learn. It's important to never give in to a mistake because it was just a mistake, but you can always do another take. Okay, lights, camera, action. So when it comes to those, the human mind or the egoic portion can be demanding when it comes to blind spots. I want to know everything, I want to see everything, I want. If you knew all of that, you would probably stop interacting with society. You would probably go somewhere and live on a mountain and just be. If you knew each and everything that would possibly happen, it may cause you to stop growing, stop moving forward, stop, having faith. It may stop you from being a helpful member of society. And it may stop you from living in your truth, in your purpose, or what have you. So you can sometimes want to know all of the moving parts of any given situation. Sometimes you don't need to know because you are supposed to experience certain things. And that goes along the lines of some of you may have um, been asking so many questions to so many people because you're just trying to find out, what is the meaning of life? What is the meaning of my life? Why am I where I am? Instead of going within and realizing why you are where you are. A lot of us end up in certain situations because of choices that we made. Um, this lifetime or others. But overall, we wake up every day with the ability to move forward in whatever way that could possibly be. Wanting things to work out in a certain type of way, without any type of works or deeds doesn't get us anywhere. So sometimes we want, when it comes to blind spots, we want all of the information. We want all of the to-dos. We want all of, and again, it's not always meant to be that way, because what you learn when you talk to people who have passed, the energy of, and the realm that collective realm of the wherever they are, or if it's above the realm where they are, most times they are in transition and have other things to go through. But what you learn that has never ceased to be part of what it is that we learn as mediums. What you learn is that you don't know till you know. And when you go into review, you begin to be like, ah, damn. Right. Oh, okay. Well, you don't say damn, I'm sure. Well, some of y'all probably, some of them probably, not y'all. But the important thing is to know that when you can't see certain things, there may be other people. And of course, with readings and stuff like that, it can give you a different perspective. It can get you back in your groove. With any type of whatever it is that you research or go towards or be drawn to, there's answers everywhere, right? So blind spots can take you for a whirlwind. What I've learned with there were numerous blind spots when it came to being caught up in an unhealthy simulation. And even though the other side of certain simulations is a higher consciousness, a higher frequency, um, a higher level of awareness, when you are going through it and figuring it out, analyzing it, auditing, poking and prodding to see like what is going on here. What you learn is that you can't pop a balloon if you don't know what it's made of, right? That's like if someone tries to get out of a blimp. Let's say we have a dream about being in a blimp, and we think that the blimp is an actual rubber balloon, but it's not. It's made of steel. It's made of metal. How do we get out of this, right? So sometimes you can't burst a bubble without knowing what the bubble is made of, which will also in turn create ashu, my words today, which also creates ashe tools that will be worth you learning and gathering those tools, right? A magician doesn't become a magician overnight. You get the tools and you learn how to use them each level that you grow, each level that you go. So there's always something. I have here that there's always things that are happening out of your view when it comes to blind spots, right? And so with things happening out of your view, sometimes there are things that you don't need to see. That's like miracles happening, right? Some stuff you don't need to know. I remember talking to mediums, people who could see it looks like to me they were looking very far in advance, because I was in my late teens, early 20s, um, when I really started to, run into people who could see, when I really and it was I was able to receive what they were seeing in the space that I was in. Of course, it would be different now. And what I learned over the years is that we do, of course, have a lot of people who can see things, but they don't have dates or anything like that. And there's a number of things that may transpire to keep things from happening or turn us around or what have you. But the mediums that I ran into seemed to be, now that I look back at it, they were looking at the blind spots, but they were seeing things very far in advance, right? Which is interesting because some of the mediums that I would interact with, one in particular, he was actually able to, when other people were going to him, he was reading their situation at hand. I go to them He was reading further in the future, 20, 30 years in the future. Okay. And I didn't know that at the time. So I'm going to see what the blind spot may be. And these people were reading far in advance. Then there was a medium who um, was letting me know about a blind spot. But the thing is, they were letting me know, but it took 20 plus years before. That's crazy. Oh my goodness. Okay. It took 20 plus years um, before I had the actual answer to what they were showing me, because they said that they would be able to remedy a certain situation that I had. And it took 20 plus years before that situation was actually remedied. But also with that situation, which had a lot to do with generational issues, right? With that situation, there was a lot of other things that if they had fully remedied that in that space, I would not have been able to maintain as much resilience, which is interesting now that I'm thinking about it, talking to y'all. I have noticed over the course of the last month or so that a lot of things have been coming up for me to discuss once I sit down with it and really get to where we are with that. So expect that to come in one form or another, whether it be here or in a book. But with those blind spots, and sometimes, a lot of information. It's even when you discuss things with different readers or different people who are professionals in whatever your issue may be. Sometimes we go through things in order for us to learn and grow from them, of course, but also to learn to not expect full on answers all the time. Take the advice as it comes to you and see what it is that you can do with it. Always use your discernment as well as pray over what it is that you are receiving so that you can use it to your betterment. Something else I didn't know around that time when I was younger and all of these things, right? Um, that is so interesting to me. I have got to sit with that, y'all. That is so interesting to me because with that coming up and people who were privy to what the medium was saying, instead of standing up and saying, well, this is what is going it's so great. This is what is happening. Um, that is so interesting to me. And that gives my work even more validity because it's important that we discuss certain things that could probably affect generations to come. I've been emotional about this coming Sunday for the last few days. So bear with me, please, because so many things have been coming up that have to do with moving forward. So also with those blind spots, a lot of times the universe is working things out and they cannot have you or anyone else to assess how those things will be working out, which you gotta love it. You gotta love that because from what I've learned and the bubble that I finally was released from, what I learned is that oftentimes because the enemy is privy to certain information, when you are coming out of whatever it is they were designed to do to try to hold you back, stop you, slow you down, whatever it is, when you are privy to certain information, mm, it can be detrimental to the work that you have to do to the way that you are led because so many things um, are changed around. And so the enemy is privy to certain information only for a season. So when you get on the other side of things, you the way that you see things and do things change because you're in a new leg of your journey. So it's called the fool's journey. Boom, you hop again. And the enemy will begin to scramble. The enemy will begin to try all of these different methods and um, things to see if they can get you back the where they had you, but you've grown and overcome. So now you have to be ready to move forward even more so, of course. So we are not always privy to the blind spots. And that's also why you may have gotten 100,000 readings about one certain situation, and it just seems as though no one has the answers. They have some of the answers, but they are not God. They have some of the answers, but they may not be in the space of being privy to certain things because it's not meant for them to have access to those things. And this is when we go into the heart of source, right? The heart of the source of all things, the end all be all, as well as what you are rooted in, what you have grown from, how far you are meant to grow. You're not going to see all the blind spots because it is meant for us to grow. All right. It is meant for us to experience. It is meant for us to graduate. It is meant for us to do many things organically, you see. All right. When I say either you cannot see them because it's not time for you to, or they are things that you are inexperienced with or at. Okay. Always seek wise counsel. Ask that the people that are meant to share things with you are revealed. Protect you from those things that are not meant for your eyes. That's the other thing. Yeah. Because sometimes you can be if you're not in a space of balance and open to receiving and doing the work that is necessary for what it is that you are walking towards, walking into, or needing to receive or give, or whatever it is, you want to be mindful that you are really ready. Sometimes people are not ready. And what happens is when they do things when they are not ready, and we learn this from those who have come before us, who have gotten into certain practices or did certain things, um, whatever that may be, join cults, whatever it is. Sometimes people get into things prematurely, get into things that were not meant for them to be into, and what have you. That's also why I go into oftentimes about mystery schools and sharing certain information readily and making it fully available and accessible without vetting the people that are coming into it, because it can cause more harm than good, regardless of your intentions. You see. Now then, blind spots can be a challenge when you are doing all of the things that you need to. Blind spots can be a challenge because oftentimes people do not tap in for just regular daily guidance. Know what is in your control, what is not. It's very important. So I wrote down 5 things. I didn't do a lot of writing this time. I wrote down 5 things that can help you with when it comes to blind spots. The first thing is focus on the goal or the task at hand. And again, understand and receive what you can